broadcasting live 4 days a week worldwide
from the sunny beaches of Southern California.
This is ExtremeHealthRadio.com.
Hey, you're listening to Ty Bollinger of CancerTruth.net. You're also listening to Justin and Kate with Extreme Health Radio. These guys are great. Enjoy listening to them. I always do.
Want an energy boost? Try Pure Hawaiian Spirulina today and feel the difference. Save 25% off your Spirulina order today using the coupon code JUSTIN, JUSTIN, at extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex. That's NUTREX.
Don't look at me like that. I know I'm not a drummer. I'm not even an air drummer.
You're not an air drummer.
It was a horrible attempt at drumming.
That's true, it was. Well, you look good, though.
Well, thank you.
Good. I thought that was pretty good.
My little fake drumsticks in the air there?
Better than the electric guitar.
Right.
The air guitar. What
the
do
air
call
guitar.
it?
The air guitar. I know.
Well, we're going to have a great show today. We've got Mr. Adam Bergstrom on. We're going to be talking about synchronicities, numbers,
our favorite stuff.
All kinds of cool things. Actually, we're going to let the conversation just guide us and
love it
as we go.
Love it.
But Adam Bergstrom, we'll introduce him in just a moment. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is episode 271. And before the show kick, get this. I counted. He was on. This will be his 8th time on the show.
No way.
And if you add up all of the numbers that he's been on, it comes to 1288. And if you divide that by 8, it becomes 161.
Oh.
So I don't know what that means, but
maybe Adam does.
So I have no idea.
Maybe he planned it this way. Just kidding.
This is episode 271, and for reference, today's Thursday, June 26th. Is that right?
Yes.
Or is it the 27th?
26th.
June 26th, 2014. In case you're listening to us 5 years in the future and don't know when this show is. But this is episode 271, and we broadcast 4 days a week on Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. So if you'd like to join the show and become a part of the chat room and get your questions answered and join the community, it's a lot of fun. And you can do that at 9 a.m. Pacific at extremehealthradio.com/live. That's where the party happens. What do you think about that?
It actually is a party, I'll tell you. Our chat room has been so much fun.
Yeah,
I love everybody in the chat room.
It's pretty great.
You guys are great.
And if you guys would like to support the show, Amazon is a really great way to do that, and we're so thankful for all you guys that make your purchases on Amazon. The trick is just remembering to do it. So if you can, that would be really great. If you go to extremehealthradio.com/Amazon for any and all of your Amazon purchases, health-related or not, that helps to support our show and keep the lights on, as Tom Bodett says, from Motel 6. So we really appreciate that. It's really great. We're so appreciative and so thankful for that. And today we have Mr. Adam Bergstrom on the show, and he teaches workshops, seminars around the United States. He has been doing so since 1977. He's got over 50 years of experience in health and nutrition, and he's counseled people with all kinds of different diseases since the 70s. And
counseled. I thought you said canceled. Hope he didn't cancel people with disease.
He's canceled people. He just
That's
deletes them. You're deleted.
It sounded like that. Sorry.
But,
clarifying there.
He's an expert in nutrition and chronobiology, which we like to talk to him about. Reflexology, slit lamp iridology, meditation, Sufi and I Ching, and other holistic modalities. And he graduated from O'Donnell Lay's Texas Institute of Reflex Sciences back in 1979. So he's been doing this for quite some time. And he recently launched a new website, which we'll talk to him about. But his website is solarman111.com and solartiming.com. But he just launched sunsyncnutrition.com. And Adam, having looked at that site, that is a pretty amazing website you have there.
Thank you, Justin and Kate.
Yeah, congratulations on that. That just launched, I think, since the last time we talked, right?
Yes, it did. It's the beginning of the Santa Barbara SunSync Science School of Self-Healing.
Oh, really?
Nice.
Wow. So did you launch that? Was that many years in the works kind of a thing?
Actually, a person contacted me when I mentioned something on a radio show about I needed an electronics guru. Well, a man named Guru, who was an electronics CEO of a company, said, "That's me." And the rest is history.
Oh, my
he contacted me, and now we have a wonderful site between us.
Wow, talk about synchronicities,
Synchronistic,
huh?
yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes, and his Guru Anjasetti is his name, and his introduction to sun sink eating is on the what do you call it? The validations there on our site for anybody to read.
That is so cool. It just looks so slick and so
Yeah.
cool. I love the logo there on Sunsync Nutrition. So it's, let's see here. It's Sunsync, SYNC nutrition.com. And what's the vision for you guys? What are you guys going to be doing with that website?
Well, the vision is to have a campus where we'll be teaching the principles of Sunsync science with an opportunity to apprentice. There'll be workshops, private healing sessions, mouth-watering, fresh live foods on time, in time, in our restaurant. And if I followed the desire of my main mentor, Swami Nitty-Gritty, it will have a moat around it.
Really? What's the moat for?
You know, water always has a unique symbology. It's tied in with the number 2, by the way. It's tied in with the number 2 and water symbology, which, of course, numerology is what our entire body structure, our body communication, and our chemistry is based on. Without numbers, we wouldn't exist, frankly.
Yeah, it's that whole sacred geometry and all the sacred numbers of the universe. They all sort of come together to make mathematical formulations of who we are. And they've talked, or I've heard even that they try to communicate with aliens through crop circles using different numbers and mathematical sequences. Pretty weird stuff.
Numbers have been used since the beginning of time. The primary number is 0. And it was so alien to Greek philosophy that they actually killed or assassinated the man who came up with 0 in Greece. His name was Hippasus, and Pythagoras ordered him to death by drowning. Now, was Hippasus too hip? No, he revealed the secret of 0.
Oh, wow.
So what was his? What
What is the secret of 0?
Yeah, why did that happen?
Well, when you look at 0, it gives you nothing or no thing to infinity. You put a 0 in front of a number, it goes one way into infinity, and it goes into minus infinity the other way. Uh-oh.
Wow, so it's a powerful thing. Wow, so it's so powerful that they put him to death.
They did. He was ordered to be drowned, and he was.
Isn't that
Pythagoras, of course, was died because he didn't like beans.
He didn't what?
He didn't like beans?
The Pythagoreans, we still have a prejudice against beans in our society, perhaps for the gas, because Pythagoras didn't like beans. In fact, the story goes that when the Pythagoreans were under attack, because the other Greeks didn't really like his ideas, he ran away, but he came to a bean field and announced that he would rather die than run through that bean field. So they obliged him and killed him.
Oh my gosh. I've never once heard that story.
Wow.
Yes. Pythagoras believed in reincarnation. That was foreign to some of the Greeks. He did a lot of things. He invented the perfect fifth, or discovered the perfect fifth and the scales. And so the number 5 was big on Pythagoras. And by the way, let's start with some really interesting sacred geometry that is really simple, because numerology really starts, it's based on the first 5 numbers, basically. And the 5 fingers on each hand is a symbol of man. You'll notice the Da Vinci painting of the head, the 4 appendages, that's the number 5. And our nutrition is so simple, it's almost unbelievable. In the 5 fingers are the 5 vitamins, and you can control them with reflexology. The thumb is vitamin A, the index finger is vitamin B, the middle finger is vitamin C, the ring finger is vitamin D, and the pinky is vitamin E. and they connect with the minerals, and you can actually adjust zinc on your thumb, chromium and cobalt on your index finger, iron on your middle finger, calcium on your ring finger, and selenium on your pinky. So you don't even need to take them.
So do all of those minerals correspond with those vitamins that you just mentioned?
Yes, they do. And here's the interesting thing. If you look at it, the thumb is the lung meridian. Of course, the lung needs vitamin A. It's well known. The index finger is the large intestine. The large intestine needs vitamin B. In fact, we even can make our vitamin B12 in the large intestine. Mm-hmm. The middle finger is the circulation sac. It needs iron and it needs vitamin C. The ring finger is the thyroid meridian. It needs vitamin D. And calcium, of course, comes out of that area. The pinky is the heart meridian. That needs vitamin E and selenium. So it's so simple. It obviously was designed in some way.
That's amazing. So are you going to be teaching these types of philosophies at your center that you are going to be starting through SunSync Nutrition?
You bet. Starting with the number one, of course, at the very beginning. And let me read you something that the Shiva Puri Baba, who lived to 139, told a very young Einstein when the Shiva Puri Baba walked around the entire world back in about 1900. Well, it took him 25 years. That's why I say about 1900. He told Einstein, absolutely speaking, only God exists. So the question of adding one thing to another cannot be entertained. Relatively speaking, no two things or beings are exactly alike. So to say 1 + 1 = 2 is convenient, but not correct. So 1 and 1 does not equal 2, only in our imaginations and for the convenience of our science.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Well, I wonder what that means then for all of, what does that mean on our level of what math actually is then? Is it all incorrect? The way we do it?
All is one. Now, it's correct and it's not incorrect because it's a yes, no, maybe universe. But the ancients knew that all is one. We hear it all the time. God is one. I am that I am. Now, the secret of I am that I am is its oneness. I am that I am means it can be anything. So I am that tree is incorrect or partially correct. I am that chair. I am that dog, which is what the dog says. I am that person, which is what the person says. I am Justin. I am Kate. I am Adam. But really, we're a lot more. We're the one, too, and this is a drama. All of us are talking together, but it's only one person. In fact, there's only one thing in the entire universe.
Wow.
And so does that kind of get into the idea of the universal mind and there is only one mind kind of thing?
It transcends the mind because the mind is stuck in duality, and strangely enough, the only way out for the mind is in threes, the yes, no, maybe, because we have the opposites, thesis and antithesis, and the way out is synthesis. Same with our brain. Notice we have a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere, and it gets us into a lot of trouble because we think of things as heaven and hell, good and evil, God and devil, sperm and ovum, yin yang, on we go, black and white. We get stuck in it just simply because the left hemisphere represents our father and the right hemisphere our mother, and the argument between them is the drama of our life.
The argument between the mother and the father. That's interesting.
Hemispheres. Wow.
The cosmic Oscar is given to the person who solves the argument between their parents.
Wow. So that's sort of what we're living out. As you said, you called it the drama of our life?
The drama of our lives, the ongoing drama of our lives. So when you solve and unite the two, of course, on a physiological basis, the sperm and ovum form the zygote. One cell made out of two cells. The two becomes one.
Interesting.
And that's also three because obviously the sperm and the ovum make something that's the third, but it actually is the one.
Wow, that's fascinating. Where do you come up with this information? That just boggles my mind.
He created it.
I tell you how you can start. Eat almonds for breakfast.
I love it. Sounds like a Japanese cone.
It's almost too easy, isn't it? But almonds means all worlds, all one.
All worlds. So that the mundo, all mundo, is that what it comes from?
You have got it exactly. All mundo. Unus mundus is what Carl Jung calls it, or the transcendental background. I prefer to call it the immanent background because our very lives are transcendental. We want to go back to immanence, not into more transcendence.
So why would you eat the almond? Because it is the most, I guess, generalized nut that you could eat, containing the most of all the nutrients, or what's going on there?
Yes, and there's something called geometric body resonance. It means that the almond looks like the amygdala. And indeed, the amygdala in the brain is a fancy Greek word for almond. So you match them by resonance by eating the almond.
Okay.
So, Adam, what do you do with someone like me who almonds don't seem to agree with me, nuts don't? Am I missing out on a whole bunch of stuff? Am I doing it wrong? What's my story, you think?
You can fall back on numerology and eat 3 of any other nuts and usually get most of the things you can in almonds. Now, let me ask you a strange question.
Sure.
When you think of not being able to eat almonds or like them, what's the first color that comes to your mind?
Red.
Okay. Something about a change or move is involved in not liking those almonds.
Really?
And we have 4 great traumas I've found. There's a trauma with change, equivalent to the first chakra. There's a problem with sex, equivalent to the second chakra. There's a problem with power, equivalent to the 3rd chakra. And a problem with death, which is fear of nirvana, is the 4th chakra. Those are the 4 main traumas that human beings undergo.
So they just sort of happen, and they're always sort of in the background of our lives?
Yes, we all are dealing with traumas because we're stuck in the number of 2. We always have to put things into heaven or hell, and we forget about purgatory.
Huh.
We forget about these middle levels. Like, say there's sense, that's the scientist, nonsense, that's the poet, but then common sense, that's the way out of the mess.
So the 3rd option is always the sort of the way out of whatever it is you're dealing with. There's always that, like you said in your book, yes, no, maybe.
Yes, the Trinity. And of course, the Trinity is the secret of sun sink eating. There's morning foods, midday foods, and nighttime foods. We get this from the ancient Germans, goes back probably to the Egyptians.
So when you have 3s like that, it's a powerful thing, isn't it? Because like if you look at a pyramid, there's the both bottom angles and then the top angle. That 3rd option seems to be, I don't know, it's something interesting in our culture because, like you said, we have a yes-no culture, black-white culture, but we're failing to see that other option.
Yes, it's represented by the corpus callosum, which is the bridge between the left and the right hemisphere. Incidentally, women have larger corpus callosums than men do. They are more balanced because of that.
So what is that? That's an actual organ in the brain that connects the 2 hemispheres?
It's an actual bridge. If you cut that cord or that bridge, the left hemisphere does not know what the right hemisphere doeth.
Wow.
Well, here's an interesting question about say let's take the example of me and the almonds. Is it something that if the chakra system was balanced or I dealt with those, issues that come up for me when I see that red, when I think that almond, is it something that changes physiologically where I'd be able to absorb and eat and have those almonds agree with me if I dealt with other things? I mean, or is that just something that is more like, you have to heal your gut in order to be able to eat this food again?
Yes, no, maybe. Once you resolve the trauma, the underlying trauma, then you'll be able to eat the almond. But until you do, and the only way to really check it out is by body dowsing or some other method where you can see if the trauma has, or feel if the trauma has actually left your body.
Interesting.
That's a form of kinesiology. I've developed body dowsing off of kinesiology. You've probably heard about it. There's applied kinesiology, touch for health, all of those. My technique measures a peak instead of a valley. The others when you have a problem, the muscle blows out. You're measuring a valley or nothing. But mine measures a peak. You will feel a twitch in the muscle, and that gives away the trauma. As long as that twitch is there, you have an ongoing trauma.
How do you measure that, Adam? Like, how is it different from the regular muscle testing?
The interesting thing is it's so easy it becomes difficult. When I've trained people, and I've trained a lot of people, most people can't feel it because they're looking for something mystical. But actually what I have people go to the feet of another person. They feel the feet, and then I tell the other person to just wave their arms around. Now, obviously, you feel that gross motor movement in their hands of the feet moving. Now I tell people to watch that person, have them talk about their life, and then feel the feet move when their hands don't move. Their brain entirely will move the feet to the left with a male trauma, to the right with a female trauma.
Wow. So that correlates again with the mother-father and all that, the right and left.
We get traumatized in the number 2, the left or the right, male or female, and sometimes it's a neutral trauma, very rare. That is called the it trauma, but we rarely have a trauma with an it. Can you imagine someone who trips on a stoop and the rest of his life he decides, I'm going to get even with stoops. They brought my downfall about. But many people will attribute that to their ex-wife or ex-husband or their mother or father or their boss or whoever. But very seldom do I ever find a trauma with a stoop or a car that hit them, and they're going to get even with all the Volkswagens in the world for hitting them.
Right. That makes sense.
Wow,
it just doesn't happen.
This is amazing stuff. Time is flying by. I tell you, we have to take a little break here, but this is just such good stuff. And really
fascinating.
Yeah, really. I want to ask Adam after the break some more about his product he's got on the SunSync Nutrition, something that you can get on your phone, which looks really interesting. I don't have a phone, but it looks really fascinating to me. I think it's some sort of way to get solar nutrition.
I was just looking at it as well.
Yeah, really interesting. SunSyncNutrition.com is Adam's website. We'll share a link to that in the chat room, as well as SolarMan111.com. And this is episode 271. Very fascinating stuff. We'll be right back right after this break. Did you know that conventional dog food contains antibiotics, herbicides, pesticides, ground up carcasses from roadkill subjected to high heat processing, artificial colors, chemical preservatives, way too many carbohydrates, genetically modified corn syrups, indigestible grains, and a lack of moisture content in the dry kibble? Obviously, this can lead to health conditions like diabetes, itchy skin, teeth and gum problems, liver damage, obesity, behavioral issues, pancreatic problems, and even cancer. That's why we recommend the BARF diet, which is the biologically appropriate raw food diet from Barf World. Their unprocessed raw meats contain bone, organ meats, vitamins, and minerals that are loaded with enzymes. Barf World founder Robert Mueller explains more.
Sure, I don't have to convince you on the damage that's caused by high heat to food. So as a result, we see many skin disorders, a lot of arthritis, obesity, heart disease, cancers. I mean, it's just rampant. The vet clinics are just full of these conditions. And basically a large percentage of the commercial pet food that's is made up of the human industry leftovers. And the pet food industry makes use of this waste product. And in addition to that, we are subjected to the products coming out of the rendering plants. Garbage in, garbage out. If you feed garbage to your dog, you're going to end up with garbage health. And if you put the right gas in, your engine runs smoother and lasts longer. So if you put the right fuel in the tank, you're going to get the right output. Garbage in, garbage out.
We've seen an immense difference with our dog Maggie being on this diet. Give your dog the gift of health today by going to extremehealthradio.com/barf or go to our store. That's extremehealthradio.com/barf to learn even more.
If you are currently using any hair care products that contain dyes or colorings, these things can be carcinogenic. You see, anything we put on our skin, even in the shower, gets into our bloodstream and causes a toxic overload to our organs over time. That's why we only recommend Morocco Method hair care products, because they're 100% chemical free, 100% organic, raw, vegan, and even wild crafted and picked according to the lunar cycles. Listen to what our guest Anthony Morocco says about foaming agents in the shampoos. use?
Well, number one with hair care is the sodium lauryl sulfate, which is a foaming agent, which is really carcinogenic, and it's very, very toxic. So that's number one. And so they're so afraid of it. The industry has made 38 different names for it. They've created cocamide, they've created coconut, they've created palm oil. But anything that foams is sodium lauryl sulfate. So I would say that you really need to read your ingredient lists. And if you cannot pronounce the word, it's made in a laboratory.
So would even organic hair care products that foam, would those be damaging as well?
Yes. Organic really today is not what it used to be. So it's just the word. It really, to me, is not reality. If you want a real product, you want to look at Wild Craft.
As a former hairstylist, I love Anthony's products. If you'd like to have truly healthy and luxurious hair, no matter what your texture, go to extremehealthradio.com/MM for Morocco Method or see it in our store. Again, that's extremehealthradio.com/MM to learn even more.
100% listener supported. Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Don't forget to join our thriving community for health tips, inspiration, and show updates at extremehealthradio.com/Facebook.
Pretty interesting stuff, huh, Kate?
Very.
Yeah, Adam Bergstrom's always a fascinating guy.
Yeah. Chat room is just going crazy with people talking about numbers and muscle testing. And
You and I have had some of the most incredible, strange, synchronistic, weird experiences lately. Probably within the last 6 months, but so much more in the last few days.
Yeah.
It's been quite strange.
Of course, the timing of having Adam on is perfect
and
for
then
that.
we get an email. Something happened in yesterday. I forget what it was. Something happened. But right then, we were talking about 222 or something, because something happened where, I don't even remember what it was, but something happened where we saw those numbers, and we looked at each other and laughed, and then an email came in from Adam saying, hey, do you want to talk about numbers and numerology? It's like,
Cosmic numerology. Well, yes, we do.
well, there's our answer.
It was like 2 seconds later. I heard a ding come in with an email, we checked it, and there we go.
Isn't that just so synchronistic and strange?
It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, wild stuff.
But it's not.
It's not. Yeah. It's the way, I feel like if you tune in, and I don't know what it is, but for us, our lives have been going that way. It's just incredible to see, to witness what's happening with our lives in that regard. Amazing. This is episode 271, and we're with Adam Bergstrom from SunSync Nutrition and SolarMan111.com, and just having a great time. And Adam, I wanted to ask you about your SunSync Nutrition product. I see that it looks like you have some sort of iPhone app or cell phone app people could use or download or something?
Yes, our site is basically the product. For $7.99, anyone in any location in the world can dial in their body time, and that's distinct from their banker's time, railroad time, convenient time, whatever you want to call it. Your body time doesn't care what time the train arrives in Bakersfield from Santa Barbara. Like, between Santa Barbara and Bakersfield, there's probably a 5-minute difference in real time. But that would drive schedulers crazy to adjust your Bakersfield time versus your Santa Barbara time. So for the convenience of people, you have railroad time, and we're stuck with it all around the world now for jet travel and other things. Now it works, because imagine trying to figure your body times and match it. But your body is a genius. It knows this time, and if you can synchronize it with it, your health improves.
So what is there? You called it the railroad time. Is that sort of the standardized time people use to connect with one another?
That's how it started, and it started in 15-degree increments across the world. Okay. By the way, that's based on something called the Magic Square out of China, which is a magic square of 492-357-816. No matter which way you go on the square, it adds up to the number 15. So we live in a very metaphysical world, even though we call it a physical world. We just don't look below the surface.
That's wild, because if you multiply 15 times 24, I think you get 365, right?
You get all kinds of numbers. The 24-hour day is based on the 24 patriarchs of the Old Testament. It goes on and on. Our numerology is based on a decimal system, a vigesimal system. That's the one we know with the Mayans, the 20, 4 score, like a score is 20. Sexagesimal, the 60 minutes, the 60 seconds, the 12 times 5 is 60. It goes on and on.
So are all of those times, they're just times that we use to correspond with one another? Like if Kate says to me, hey, can you meet me up at the store at 5 o'clock? That's what that time is for, but you're talking about body time, which is, I guess, something different?
Body time is health time. Like many people, because we reach people around the world, people will ask me, well, that's your time there in Santa Barbara. What about I'm in England? Do I go on your time? No, you go on your body time, depending on where the sun is in the heavens over your own head, not my head, not somebody else's head, but the person's head that's dealing with the sun. So high noon is determined by a sundial. That's how they used to determine it. And it is the true local time.
So the sundial, that's how you can find out the true local time.
Yes, and your health is dependent on that because whether you eat, the morning is designed to eat tree foods when the trees eat the food. The midday is the vine and the bush and the grain. And the nighttime is the seafood and the roots. The roots get the leftovers of what the other plants get, the infrared radiation. And definitely we get to a finer type of energy in the morning. That's why people meditate in the morning because their brain is more active. Just like the leaves at the very top of a tree get the first rays of the sun, our brain gets the same thing. We're basically trees with the leaves being the lobes of our lungs, the little alveoli within them that pick up and transpirate the liquid and minerals and air in our body.
But wouldn't it be a bad thing if you're meditating in the morning, which is what I do, and your mind is more active?
No, actually, your mind is more active in a different way. If you read a book between 3 and 5 in the morning at lung time, you will find it hard. It's almost like people report when they smoke pot. They can't put the thing together. But an amazing thing will happen. Later on in the day, their recall will make connections between the facts they read. In other words, they won't just be reading like a parrot, my name is Adam, or something like that. They will begin to see comparisons. They will say things like, Adam is related to Adam, and Adam is A-D-A-M, and that relates to a dam, and that relates to this, and blah, blah, blah. Mm-hmm. And there's an ohm in Adam, and it's at ohm, and blah, blah, blah. All those type of things will come in. While if you study at other times of the day, you will not tend to make those same connections.
So everything that we do on a daily basis can be somewhat different. We can have different experiences. If we were to replicate those same things that we did on Monday, if we did them on Tuesday at slightly different times, we could have completely different experiences.
Yes, to keep your body healthy requires nothing but the number 3, morning, midday, nighttime foods. To regenerate your body requires the number 12. That's the 12 acupuncture meridians in order, starting from 3 in the morning: lung, large intestine, stomach, spleen, heart, small intestine, urinary bladder, kidney, circulation, sex, triple heater, gallbladder, liver, and back to the lungs in an ever ongoing cycle.
What's going on with 12? The 12 seems like a big number. You have 12 disciples in the Bible and 12 apostles and 12 months in the calendar. What do you think is going on there with 12?
The 12 meridians are part of it. And notice that the 12 breaks down to a 3. But 12 is the primal number of health. 8 is also a health number. It relates to our color symbols. The 7 colors ending up in the color white, or the 8th chakra, which many people equate with God himself. So that's why we only have 7 chakras, we leave the 8th one to God. Now, a lot of people say Newton only saw 6 colors. Indigo is a fictional color. It doesn't exist. What they neglect to mention is that he didn't see orange either. He only had 5 colors. But later, he looked closer, and he could see both orange and indigo.
Now, I've heard that 8 is a number of prosperity or something. Is that correct?
Actually, 10 is the number of prosperity.
Okay.
So I'm pleased to do show number 271 with you.
I know, right? That equals 10.
Yes. And by the way, an amazing synchronicity happened just before the show, even though we opened our SunSync Nutrition site about close to a month ago now. But I got a strange email before the show. It said, reminder, SunSync Nutrition is starting in approximately 30 minutes. And it was sent to me at 8:30, 1/2 hour before the show. So somehow, I suppose right now is the official starting of SunSync Nutrition. So thank you.
Oh my gosh.
That is hilarious. Wow. Yeah, so 10 is a number of prosperity. So what do you make of, do you yourself see all these weird, strange double numbers like we do all the time?
Oh, yes. I began seeing numbers a long time ago, and it got me into a book of numerology called the I Ching, the book of numbers, basically, that the Chinese did. That led me into books on synchronicity, like Carl Jung wrote a book called Synchronicity and a Causal Connecting Principle. It led me to Arthur Kessler's book, The Roots of Coincidence, and other books. I became fascinated with why these numbers were following me around. At that time, it was primarily 43, which I now know is a symbol of chaos, which is the Dutch word for gas. If you notice the spelling of it, it's very close to the word gas. Indeed, it means it. And gas is cosmic consciousness, by the way.
Wow. That's crazy. Yesterday when we sort of solidified the topic of what we're going to talk about today, it was interesting because Kate had sent me a link about 222, because I think I mentioned after the commercial just now that we had this weird synchronicity yesterday with your email coming through talking about this. And she brought up this thing that says number 222 is made up of the attributes of and energies of the number 2 tripled, making number 222 a very powerful vibration. This number carries the attributes of the number 2 and 22, the master builder number that resonates with ancient wisdom, vision, idealism, and transformation. Number 2 lends its influences of faith and trust, encouragement, attainment, and success, adaptability, diplomacy, and cooperation, duality, service, and duty, balance and harmony, selflessness, faith, and trust, and your divine life purpose and soul mission. Number 222 has to do with balance, manifesting miracles, and new auspicious and timely opportunities.
Excellent. Even Confucius associated the number 22 with the artist.
With the artist, you said?
The artist.
The artist.
Yes.
And how did you...
It's the number of the artist. And they were actually afraid of number 23. 23 in the I Ching is the ridgepole. It means that all your illusions are collapsing. Now, number 3 was the primary number in a fictional book called the Illuminatus Trilogy. If you've ever come across that book, it's a very interesting book. It's been called a Lord of the Rings for paranoids.
How do you spell that or say that book again?
The Illuminatus Trilogy. Illuminatus is Illuminatus.
Okay.
Trilogy. And it's by Robert Anton Wilson and Robert, I forgot his last name right now.
Interesting.
Okay, we'll find it.
Wow.
But it's a very enjoyable novel. Fictional, but there's a lot of truth exemplified in it.
That's so fascinating. We're going to take a little bit of a break here, but when we come back, I want to ask you about what some people do where they add up the date of their birth or the time of their birth.
Well, yeah, I never understand all that.
I never really understood them. It's just, and so maybe when we get back after the break, we can talk a little bit about that, if there's any merit to that, and the time and the date of your birth means anything. Fascinating stuff. Adam Bergstrom, this is episode 271, and we're going to be right back right after this break. I have to say, I have been absolutely loving this product by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar called Good Morning, Good Evening Qigong. If you want to listen to the interview we did with Tristan, you can go to extremehealthradio.com/127. And Qigong is a great way to de-stress the body. And as you know, there's a huge component to disease caused by stress. And stress is a huge factor in how we live our lives and the amount of energy we have and the amount of vitality we have. And so, Dr. Shade, what do you think about Qigong?
People come to me and they're really sick and they got this blown out neurological system and all this toxicity. And I tell them, you need to do Qigong, Tai Chi. You need to do these things that settle down and restore your neurology, because it puts together all the parts. It puts you back into that state where you can start to detoxify. And so I highly, highly recommend all that.
And what about you, Kit Campbell? What do you think about Qigong? Do you like it as well?
Qigong is amazing. And the reason that I believe it to be amazing is everything here is energy. That is a scientific fact, if there ever is one. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually drawing energy into your body. Your intention, whatever your intention is behind any action, will determine the level of energy, type of energy that you absorb into your body. So your intention behind is very important, just like thought. So when you're practicing Qigong, you're actually bringing energy in and you're bringing out the stuff that might be a bit stale. With Tai Chi, it's totally different. The energy runs underneath the skin because it's more of a martial. This is the Chinese understanding, by the way. It's more of a martial art. So Qigong is very, very good for bringing that energy into the body, and just fantastic.
If you're interested in picking up this Qigong course by Tristan Truscott and Peter Ragnar, go to extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. That's QIGONG. And you can learn more about it. There's a great video on that page, and you can learn more about it on that page. And I highly, highly recommend this product. I love it myself, so go ahead and check that out. extremehealthradio.com/Qigong. Sometimes busy lifestyles and easy access to processed foods prevent us from getting all the nutrition we need to maintain our well-being. If you are in need of an energy and immune system boost, you have to try Hawaiian Spirulina. Hawaiian Spirulina is a caffeine-free way to boost your energy levels without the later energy crash. Pure Hawaiian Spirulina Pacifica is an easy way to support your health and is the most nutritious whole food supplement known to mankind. Cultivated on the pristine Kona coast in Hawaii, this superfood is packed with over 100 nutrients in each serving to support your natural energy levels and boost your immunity. Try Hawaiian Spirulina today and feel the difference. Save 25% off your Spirulina order today by using the coupon code JUSTIN at extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex, Nutrex. That's extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex.
All free shows, all the time on Extreme Health Radio. Opening minds and transforming lives worldwide. Join our community today. Sign up to our email list and instantly get our free gift to you, along with loads of inspirational content and cutting-edge tips to help change your life at extremehealthradio.com/subscribe.
Well, Kate, I think there's a lot more to numbers than we probably will ever know, right?
I'm thinking so. Gosh.
Yeah, there is something to it. I have no idea, but there's definitely, it's just really fascinating stuff, interesting information. It's just amazing what goes into all the sacred geometry and the Fibonacci sequence and the golden spiral and all this sacred geometry stuff. It's amazing.
I don't know how Adam can learn this, hold it in, and explain it in just like ways that sound new and interesting every time. It's like I haven't heard the same thing twice. We've had Adam on how many times?
8 times. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, he's not of this world.
No, he's not of this world. I have a question. There was a question in the chat room. Let's see if I can get back to it. Regarding, just to clarify, regarding the app for the phone, Adam, Chris in the chat room says that it's so cool and wonders if it works off like a via GPS. Is that how that works?
If it works off of
I'm sorry. Chris says that's so cool. I wonder, does it do it via GPS, the way that it calibrates and gives information?
Yes. My friend Guru actually had his technologists work it, so it's one of the most sophisticated timekeeping applications on the planet now.
Oh, my gosh.
And by the way, it's available at $7.99, which means you can do it on your computer, but you can do it on an Android. And we still have to hook it up for iPhone. We're just about at that place.
Oh, wow.
But you can also do it at home. And the difference between the $7.99, because that's only $8 basically, is the $79 one, you also get multiple features, blogs, FAQs, a whole bunch of things, little mini books, and a color recycling system that you can get over your Android or eventually your iPhone and your computer, where you put yourself through the colors, which recycles. For instance, if you have a trauma with the color red, if you put it in flow or sequence in the proper order, which is black, gray, brown, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, white. Just by saying that alone, you start to clear traumas from your brain. Well, we have it where it's visual. And if you look at it visually, plus say the colors as they come up, you have a double whammy to the brain in getting rid of traumas.
So is the app, is it a one-time thing, or do you pay monthly, or how's the payment work on that?
This is the beauty of it. As long as I'm alive, I better stay alive a long time.
That's right.
Yes, as long as in other words, most apps and things like that, you have pay a monthly or at least a yearly subscription rate. This is open-ended. Get in now. We may raise the price later, but right now, anybody they're in for $79. That's it. They got the maximum. All the blogs I'll be writing there, all the other information will be there, and a lot of other features too.
Wow, so it's just a one-time fee, and then there you go.
One time. Unheard of, really.
Yeah, wow. Because most apps are pretty cheap, though, like $1, $2, $3, but you pay every single month forever.
Yes, and now the apps for doing the color is worth it alone. That's only $7.99. Plus, there'll be a list of some of the foods. The $79 app gives you, or membership gives you access to toxic removal formulas, homeopathic remedies, what time to take drugs, what time to take herbs, etc., etc. A whole bunch of different categories are there.
Wow. My gosh, and it is available now, Adam?
It's available now,
so people can, there's a bunch of talk in the chat room about trying to get it for the Android right now, so cool.
That's really cool. Yep. So does it tell you, are there things on the phone that you could get that would be like a reminder of, like if you move into the midday time frame, does it tell you what foods, kind of like a pop-up box, or how does that work for people?
Exactly. Say you wish to take a certain cleanser. You set it for your time, your body time, in your local area. You will have to adjust that if you decide you're going to move to Omaha or someplace like that.
Okay.
But on your time, then, you don't have to think about it. All you do is go into any of those boxes for cleansers, for homeopathics, whatever. It tells you what is available now. You don't even have to think about it at all. There's no calculation whatsoever. Now, here's the thing. Say you want to plan breakfast, then you have an option. You can go into your morning, midday, or nighttime foods that way. So you also have the option to do it that way if you prefer.
That is so cool. So if someone just gets home from work and they want to make dinner, they can just right then and there figure out what foods are available for dinner, and then they can whip up something that matches according to that list.
Yep, pop in the vegetables and say, let's see, I have carrots here. Is that nighttime food? Ah, there it is. It's right on my list. And it says I can eat it right now.
Oh my
and as soon as it switches over to the next time, it's not as good for you. Now, obviously, any healthy food is good for you. But when you put your foods in sequence, like nature does it, trees get their light in the morning, the vines get it in the middle of the day, and the roots get it at nighttime, your health increases, sometimes exponentially, and sometimes not as much because people are already perhaps preferring a banana for breakfast than eggs, which would be a nighttime food.
Isn't that wild? Wow. So for people like me who don't have cell phones, you can get this, and it could work on your computer.
Right on your computer, yeah. So you don't have to be, it's not limited to cell phones, but it has the extra benefit of, say you want to color recycle yourself and you're in an office meeting and you're dealing with a tough boss or something, you just turn it on and look at those colors. It takes you through the colors silently. Or you want to check what time it is. You're at the company cafeteria or something like that, and you want to know when to eat, and it tells you if it's your highest choice to eat it. There's no bad time to eat anything, but there's a better time and a best time.
That is so cool. I heard you once talk about, I don't know why I got the hit, maybe someone else or somebody out there needs to know this, but I heard you talk one time about rebuilding or remineralizing your teeth, and you're talking about eating some sort of cheese at a certain time of the day. Was that in like an onion or something? Is that correct?
That is correct. At 6:15 p.m. is the optimum time to do that. That is right in the correct resonance of the kidney meridian. And all acupuncturists and traditional Chinese medical doctors know that the kidney meridian is when you build bone and enamel. It's the time. Now, at the same time, when you're doing that formula, which happens to be either Monterey cheese, Monterey Jack cheese, sharp cheddar cheese or Swiss cheese, and you take those and hold it in your mouth with a clove of garlic and a bit of red onion, and you hold it in as long as possible so the minerals in all three can combine to rebuild the enamel in your teeth, sometimes even removing calories, by the way. And you can increase that if you walk outside and jog on pavement by stomping your feet. And interesting enough, Kidney 1 is the only meridian that has the beginning of it at the bottom of the foot, not on the toes or the fingers like other meridians do. So it's very special for the development of qi, and we call it grounding. And the grounding is done with the kidney meridian.
The kidney meridian. So by pounding up and down on the pavement a little bit, what's that doing? It's organizing the qi or something?
It actually makes qi and plates the bones. You know, NASA uses a vibrating machine at the frequency of a cat's purr to replate the bones in the astronauts. So all that nonsense about them losing calcium in outer space is only for the astronauts that don't know about that technique. And it's been well popularized in National Geographic. But when I read that article, I couldn't find out what the frequency was until I started reading veterinary manuals, because it's okay to replate the bones of your cat. But if you tell people about that, you can't sell the world calcium supplements, bone-building drugs, and everything else they're trying to put off on us.
That's a big deal. Wow. So the bone, I've heard that before with the animals or the cats in particular, how when they purr, that really is their way of building bone density or rebuilding their bones or something like that.
Yes, we think it's actually the purr has to do with them being happy with us, but actually they're traumatized by us, and they want to get on our good side. That's why they come up to you and purr and put their tail on you and basically attempt to make you part of their tribe.
Wow. So this app sounds really cool. So it's going to have...
What doesn't it do?
Yeah, so it's going to have your writings and things like that in there as well?
Lots of blogs. Already there's many books. We're just putting my osteogenesis, 12 important ways to build bone mass. We have a circadian glossary that a bigger and bigger version will be added to that. Blogs, you can ask questions and all kinds of information. It's almost too numerous to mention.
Yeah, that's amazing. Are you going to have any of your podcasts, like stuff like this and other radio shows that you do? Are you going to have any of that on there?
You guys are on there.
Oh, are we?
Wow.
Yes, and thank you for helping, for juicing up the world.
Wow, that sounds like such a cool thing. Amazing. Wow.
So, Adam, I know that Justin mentioned before the commercial, I know people in the chat room are wanting to know about at least we can ask you and touch on the numerology with the birth numbers and things like that. Can you explain in real general terms, like how that all kind of works together?
Well, most people connect their lives with their age, and this breaks the body down. Any number over the first 10 numbers tends to break the body down, with the exception of 22, 33, and 44. So if you say, I am 40 years young, or say old, either way, you will still, if you do a muscle test, it will weaken your body. Not until you put it into a linear configuration, like I am 40 revolutions around the sun. But here's where I learned this from Swami Nitty Gritty, and he noticed something. People would say, oh, I'm 60 revolutions around the sun. I'm much too old to be doing that, which defeated his whole purpose. So then he went to telling people to do their numerology and give their cycle. Now, my number is 6, so I'm stuck with 6. I can't age as long as I identify with that number. Adano, interesting enough, identified with the number of prosperity. His broke down to the number 10. And by the way, when you do that yogic O with your hands, you join the thumb with the index finger. It's a little more involved than that. The left hand represents the number 10, or prosperity, and the right number 100, or infinity.
So the right hand represents that, as if you're making the same thing on both hands. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, that's why the ancients were afraid of the feminine, because they knew it represented, or the feminine represented, infinity, and they couldn't handle infinity. They were stuck in solid numbers. In fact, the ancients were afraid of even numbers because they represented infinity, and the odd numbers, they would do everything in odd numbers. To this day, magicians who practice the art of high magic, they do everything in 3s and 7s. They keep it away from the even, because the even represents matter, or mater, or mother, like an alma mater, and they were afraid of it. People still are afraid of even numbers, by the way. And one reason is, if you wish to gain weight, if you're a bodybuilder, eat things in 2s. If you wish to lose weight, eat things in 3s or 5s or 7s or 9s.
How do you mean eat things in 2s? Like if you're going to have, I guess, anything you're going to eat, have 2 of them?
If I wish to gain weight, I start my day with 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, or 12 almonds. I don't start with 3, 5, 7, 9, or 11 almonds. And indeed, I've been criticized because of this, that how can that be? That's metaphysical nonsense. But it's true. Even in the periodic table of the elements, where they have, by the way, magic numbers, they know that your odd-numbered elements in the periodic table have the most long-lasting isotopes and last the longer than the odd numbers by a lot. So there is a numerology in that. And for the people who have criticized for me saying that, they can go and check out the magic numbers that physicists deal with all the time.
Wow.
My brain hurts.
Yeah.
This is nuts.
That's amazing. So there's something to do with the odd and the even numbers. So when you were saying earlier, when you talk about your age in terms of I'm 50 years old or something like that, what happens on an energetic level? Somehow it breaks the cells down or something?
Yes, it does. It breaks the cells down. When you do a muscle test by standard means and it weakens your muscle, it breaks the muscle down. And by the way, the muscle testing for vitamins and minerals like that is not that accurate. It all depends on your brain. If your brain or your mind will accept it into your body, then it will test strong. It's as simple as that. It's a psychological test. And by the way, the secret of the longevity is in the following numbers. And this is, you can study the periodic tables of the elements if you don't believe this. It's in the number 2, 10, 18, 36, 54, 86, and 118. And those, indeed, are the numbers of the most stable elements on the planet: helium, neon, argon, krypton, xenon, radon, called the antisocial gases because they last so long and they won't have anything to do. They snub the other elements.
So they're the most stable ones, is that correct?
They're the most stables. And then we can't stop there. Physicists also go on into 2, 8, 20, 28, 50, 82, and 126. Basically, 8 is oxygen, and the secret of consciousness is in oxygen.
That's amazing. So in terms of saying things about yourself, I'm just sitting here wondering, like when most people ask you how old you are, people frame the question in a way that's already,
it sets you up for negativity or breakdown, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sets you up. But what are some ways that we do that, do you think, in our own mind? It's sort of a common thing you've seen with people that break us down like that, like saying, "Oh, I'm 52 years old," or "I'm too old for this," or there's sort of the negative talk. What are some ways that you've seen people that do this kind of psychological sabotage and don't even know it?
Counting. Like if you count how many reps you're doing at the gym, you'll get a lactic acid buildup. If you can free your mind, including your unconscious, from counting, you can do 1,000,000 reps and never get tired. That's been done under hypnosis, by the way, so it's certainly probable.
So counting in general. So that's a lot of times people that are, what is that, OCD or something?
Autistic or...
well, they'll count all the...
Obsessive compulsive, yeah.
Obsessive compulsive, yeah.
I'll go even further. Anybody who ages is OCD. It's just a spectrum disease. The aging is an OCD process of counting. As amazing as that sounds.
So it's weird because, we bring the numbers into our life and they help us in so many ways. They help us be on time to appointments. They help us go to bed. The numbers are very useful and beneficial for our lives, but it's almost like with everything else, if we don't understand what's going on a deeper level, or if we don't understand how to tame the numbers, then they begin to break us down and age us.
Yes, and then we come to someone like Master Chen, who I had the opportunity to study with, and he said, how can my enemy possibly defeat me if I become him? And so he said, my enemy is the scabbard I put my sword in. And he was quite a sword fighter, even being in a 3-day sword fight one time to escape China.
Wow. So, golly.
3-day sword fight.
3-day sword fight. Obviously, he can get by with a minimum of sleep, and true masters don't sleep. They may pretend to sleep, but they don't actually sleep because they don't need to, because they're constantly rebuilding themselves with the infinite 0-point energy of the universe.
And they do that through how? What are some of the ways they do that?
Non-existence. No thing is not the same as nothing. The primal void is where we're all connected, and we're afraid of it. We sing, yes, we have no bananas. We're afraid to say, yes, we have 0 bananas, because we actually have, I guess you could call it zerophobic. We're zerophobic. Yeah. And let's give an example of Satya Sai Baba. One time he asked a pundit, "Sir, are you and I one?" And the pundit reasoned, "Well, surely. You and I are one, Baba." And Baba said, "No," pointing to the pundit and then to him, "I and I are one." And see, even when we talk about oneness, we still get stuck in two-ness, because basically the pundit was saying, me too. Two is an interesting word. T-O-O and T-W-O. They are related.
It's funny when you start looking at these types of things, how in our life we get wrapped up like this person did. We get wrapped up with numbers and don't even know it, really.
Yes, we even brag about our age, which gets us in trouble. But some people do get to be 125 years old. Now, scientists are leaving people out. Like Master Chen's master lived to be 130, and the Shirdi Sai Baba, who I mentioned earlier, lived to be 139. He started smoking at 130, actually.
Good for him.
Yeah, you make it that far, you might as well be able to have something that's...
I guess so. He was probably grounding himself. I heard the story of another guru that asked for a cigarette so he could ground himself to keep from floating away.
Oh, my goodness. We just saw an article the other day of a guy. What's his name? He's a famous guy, but There's, apparently he lived till he was 256 years old. It was.
You sent me that article. I forget his name.
Yeah, Chinese herbalist. I forget what his name was.
And of course, Babaji up in the Himalayas, he apparently has lived at least 300 or 400 years, and he has a twin sister that is still alive too.
So these two people are still alive.
Yes, there's a man I met that claims to have studied with Babaji in the Himalayas for 2.5 years. And his story sounds pretty authentic. I'd still like to check him out with more details, but his story sounded authentic to me. He didn't brag about it or anything. In fact, I went to a lecture. He didn't mention it at all, though I'd heard rumors of it from friends of mine who had studied with him. Then we went away to a ranch near Sedona, and there was a private satsang, and people begged him to tell stories about Babaji, and he reluctantly agreed. But once he got into it, he started giggling and telling all these stories because he was obviously delighted in the teachings of Babaji.
That's wild. And how old is he? Did you say?
Babaji, they argue about his age of being 1,000, and some say 356. Also, friends of mine met someone on Mount Shasta that claimed to be 300 or so, and his story was quite unique. It's too long to tell on the show here without taking up all this time, but one day I'll tell the story of Star and on Mount Shasta.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that.
I'm going to make a note of that. I'd love to hear that.
I wonder if, some of these people, you wonder if it's really true or not, but it's just fascinating. It's fascinating to entertain the idea that it could be possible, though.
Many people have claimed to do that and have died, so you have to be cautious about, you have to separate the wheat from the chaff. Mm-hmm. And that's been one of my functions, is to look under rocks, so to speak. When people tell me something, I want to see. I'm from Missouri. Of course, I'm from New Jersey, but philosophically, I'm from Missouri. I want to see the nails in the hands to make sure I'm not having a hallucination.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because there's been a lot of talk going around about people who are breatharians and they live on just air, and you catch them at downtown, Del Taco or something, eating burritos,
I personally know the girlfriend of one of them, and she said many times he snuck in for junk food, or she went out and got it for him.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
No names mentioned, but they are out there. And other ones you can read about on the internet that were tested. They were locked away, and of course they were almost starving to death before they gave in. Yeah. And they said, it's because the air isn't pure enough in this area. I have to be on a mountaintop or something.
Yeah.
But supposedly they were living in the city before that and were supposedly breatharians at that point. So anyway, one must be cautious.
Well, there's no Del Taco on Mount Shasta, that's for sure.
That's true. No Del Taco. Oh, that's funny. Well, Adam, thank you so much. That was so much fun, and I could just talk with you for days.
Thank you. Thank you for helping me juice up the world, as you say.
I love it. No problem at all. So if people want to stay up to date with you, what's the best website? Would that be the still be solarman111.com?
Solarman, actually, solartiming.com has more recent things. Okay. And, of course, they can find things without paying anything on the SunSync Nutrition site. But for a nominal fee, they can find out a lot more. So they're all welcome to join.
So when is your, center physically, your physical location going to be up and running? Do you have any idea?
Officially, it's open, but someone has to show up for it to truly be a center. And then we need a location. Here in Montecito, we're surrounded by millionaires and billionaires. So if any of you, millionaires or billionaires, are listening to this and wish to supply us with another physical center better than we have now, please contact us.
I would love that. As soon as I talk to Oprah, I'll let you know.
That's right. We've got Oprah and Ellen and Tom Cruise and Jeff Bridges and John Travolta and a whole bunch of people living here. So they're welcome to call anytime.
That is great.
We'll put it out there. You never know.
Well, Adam, let's do it again. We'll get you on the books for another show, and this has just been so much fun.
Wonderful. The same here.
So much fun. All right, hang tight on the line here because we're going to close out the live show. We're with Adam Bergstrom. This is episode 271, which adds up to 10, right? 2 plus 7 plus 1.
I love it.
Yeah, thanks all of you guys for being in the chat room and being involved in the chat room and listening live. We really appreciate that. We broadcast live 4 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific. I don't know what time that is in body time, but it is 9 a.m. Pacific. So
I'm going to say yes, no, maybe.
So make sure to check out those shows if you want to join, ask questions, and become a part of the community in the chat room and get to know some other listeners. So that's a great way to be a part of the show. So we really appreciate you. We're going to put links to a forum thread that we'll create in our forum if you guys would like to discuss further some of the things that Adam talked about. So we'll put a link to that on this show page, episode 271. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us. And
That was fun, guys. Thanks.
We'll catch you on the next episode. Thanks,
Adam. That was so fun.
Thank you very much. And
Thank you.
fun indeed.
Tell Susie we said hello to.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Adam.
Talk to you soon.
You bet.
Bye.
Blue skies and green lights.
Oh, I love it.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Blue skies and green lights. I love it. Come here.
I know. Isn't he great? Mr. Adam Bergstrom. Wow.
Maggie just got a swift kick to the face by accident.
Oh, did she?
Poor thing.
Did you do a roundhouse kick on her?
Oh, I tried, but she moved. Just kidding.
Crescent kick?
You
to
stand
the
here,
jaw?
Maggie. No. Poor little thing. Wow, interesting stuff.
Yeah, really wild stuff, huh?
Wow.
I know there's something going on with numbers. You watch anything, you do some Google searches, you start learning, you read some books about numerology or sacred geometry or the golden mean, all these sacred angles, that the pyramid, all this stuff.
The Bible.
What's
up with all these numbers?
Yeah, there's numbers everywhere you look.
Everywhere you turn.
The symmetry in our faces, it's all mathematically aligned. I mean, that's what really we think beauty is, right? It's just the symmetrical features on a face.
You're right.
Yeah, it's really fascinating, and I don't know where it comes from. You know, why do we think that something that is symmetrical is beautiful? I don't know.
That is so weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny because if you look at someone who you wouldn't consider beautiful and you look at and you study their face, you can see that, you know, the eyes aren't exactly the same, or they're positioned differently, or
right, their nose is a bit off to the side or something.
One side does something weird, and so it's weird.
Sorry, your face is doing something weird over there.
But isn't that weird how we think about that? Because what guest was it recently where we were talking about the gaps in the teeth? Remember in African people where they have this really wide, beautiful jaws, and their teeth are much more, have much more room in their jaws, and they have these gaps in them because that just shows their level of health.
Yeah. Was that Maria Valdivia?
So you can't say
Valdivia?
it either.
Was that her we talked
about? You can't say it either. Valdivia.
I've been giving you a really hard time. Or maybe, no. I think it was Dr. Kate Ray on Blue.
Oh, you're right.
I think that was her
K2.
we talked about. Yeah.
Vitamin K2.
About the faces. That's right.
I think that was episode, I don't know, a few episodes ago, right?
It was episode 265.
265.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just strange. There's so many things with the numbers.
Well, it's like, is math so integrated, and it seems to be like we're made of math and numbers and whatever he was talking about, that is such a part of you that if you were on a desert island and you didn't have anyone else's opinion about what beauty was, and you came across another human being that looked funky, would you still think that? I mean, probably. You'd be drawing from, if you never looked in a mirror yourself.
And you never were around people, you mean?
Yeah, you never were around people. You never knew what your own self looked like other than what you could see about your hands. You couldn't see your own face. And you ran into somebody else. I wonder if it's so innate and ingrained in us, that this mathematical equation of sorts, that you would just respond like that. I don't know.
But then, too, the thing that I would say yes. I mean, deep down, I would say yes, because we're designed to, for some reason, we're designed to think that stuff is beautiful symmetry. But why do, on the other hand, you have people that say, oh, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and you might have someone who technically wouldn't be very symmetrical or beautiful.
Right.
But someone else thinks they're just amazing.
Right.
And so why is that? If we're all trained and have the same ideas of symmetry, and why we think, if we all think symmetry, maybe
they're missing a number. I'm just kidding. Instead of missing a brain cell or a gene, they're missing a number.
Yeah, they're just missing.
Just a little off.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know what you mean, though. In all seriousness, I don't know.
That's strange, isn't it?
I wonder what Adam would say about that.
Yeah.
My mind feels fried. I feel like Adam just like cracked my head open and fried it like an egg.
I know. I think you said that last time, didn't you?
No, did I?
I think so.
If I'm repeating myself, then
that's a scary thing.
That's very scary.
No, but Adam is just a fascinating guy, and I'm really excited about his app that he's got. I think
Man, that is so cool.
Get access to that.
I do too. Let's do it.
I really like, it sounds like he's going to have a lot of his shows on there that he does. And
I wanted to ask him on the show, I wondered if he has anything, like, how he said he has extra things and, a bunch of stuff on there.
Oh, yeah.
I wonder if he has anything to where, I remember in the first couple shows we talked with him about more like colors and things for people trying to get pregnant or for people who need help with success or lifting a mood or trying to deal with a specific issue. I wonder if he has information on that app as well of like, if you're looking to do this today, wear that or this color combo or I wanted to ask him on the show.
Because I know that when we did the show with him on color, he talked about wearing each day has a color that you should wear.
Yeah, like an ideal color.
Yeah, so like for example, I'm just throwing this out there, you'd wear blue on Monday or predominantly or at least some blue colors. And then I think he talked about one time if you want to get pregnant, green is the color.
I remember green too.
Green underwear or whatever, things like that. But I wonder, that's a good question. That would be really cool, actually.
I wonder if another step, taking it beyond that to another step, I wonder if eating foods of that color help you too. Like I wonder if you're trying to get pregnant, if you ate zucchini or cucumber for lunch that day, along with wearing the color. I mean,
yeah,
who
he says
knows?
It does.
He does? The eating of the food?
On the show, he said that.
I don't remember that.
So when you have your green juice, your salad, or anything green for pregnancy,
wow.
And then you wear green, you have green things in your room, you paint the wall green. I mean, you wouldn't paint the wall green, but...
It's a wonder we don't have 15 kids. All we do is eat green stuff.
True. That's true.
That is. We eat so much green. Not like we've actively tried for a kid, but that is really funny. You think you'd attract that kind of stuff.
Well, I guess it'd be really good for people that are having difficulty too.
Sure.
Because I don't know what that is, some frequency about that. But then again, frequencies are all numbers too. That's all math. Everything goes back to math. Remember that?
I hate math.
I know, right? Remember that documentary we watched about the signal that they were sending to space in the crop circle? I brought that up on the show. Remember that?
I do.
And that was all a whole mathematical sequence that they were putting in.
It's like encrypted. It was just all these numbers.
Yeah, it was like...
And they answered with that, too.
In the 70s, they put out, apparently, some mathematical equation through beaming it up to a satellite and sending it out into space. And then the answer to that equation came forth via a mathematical...
Crop circle.
And output into a crop circle, which is just, who knows if that's true, but I don't know. I mean, there's just something to numbers, I think.
Yeah, big time.
I wonder, like we did that show the other day with crystals, I wonder if they have a frequency in numbers. I wonder how they tie to numbers. Wouldn't that be weird to look into?
We could spend 18 million lifetimes and not like run out of things to wonder about or talk about. That's the beauty of life. I mean,
I know.
It's just, it was cool in the chat room after we kind of closed out the show. I think it was Amber Marie mentioned something about how life has gotten so much more exciting. She never thought that life, like, prior to 2 years would be like this. Like,
really?
Or 2 years ago, she never saw life being exciting like it is now. And
wow.
She just said that same thing. It just would take, it takes all the mundane and boring out of the daily routine that we were all kind of entranced in.
I know.
Entrenched.
Yeah, I think, we talk about this a lot, and I think there's a lot to do with living in the mystery of it all. And when you do that, I think you open up synchronicities, opportunities, and circumstances to happen in your life that come in as a result of sort of getting rid of past ideas that are very archaic
limiting.
And calcified and limiting. And when you live in the mystery and live in the question, you're sort of thinking, I wonder how things work, or I wonder why this is the way it is, or, is this possible? And you start living like that, and it seems like things start happening in your daily life, right?
It seems to be the case for you and me, at least.
Yeah, that's how it is for us.
Yeah.
It's weird. I keep saying it's weird. It's not weird.
It's not weird.
We think it's weird, but it's really the way probably life should be. That
was intended, and we got busy in the rat race where we weren't paying attention to the original life force.
Yeah, I'm looking at the clock here. It's 10:28. I'm surprised it's not 10:22.
I know, it surprises me now. I'm like, darn, I saw the time at the wrong time.
I know,
There's
right?
no wrong time, apparently.
This is going to be cool. I'm really excited about this app, and we're going to pick this thing up and grab it and get it. So we'll talk about our experiences with it. And
that's going to be fun to talk about, absolutely.
Yeah, I want to start experimenting with eating on time because I haven't really...
Let's eat on time.
I do a little bit of it by nature, but I don't do it consciously.
You have to reach down and grab Maggie.
Yeah.
You're very needy, Maggie.
Maggie's so needy right now.
What don't you do consciously?
I don't eat on time consciously. Like, I don't think about what I should be eating at what time, But by nature, I do have like fruit in the morning, and I do like to have things like fish or meat or something, food that's lower down on the ground, closer to the earth in the evening, like carrots and things like that. I mean, it just makes sense. I kind of just do that naturally, but it would be interesting to kind of do something long term for a month or two and see how you feel.
It would be. It seems like it's almost like when you do a juice fast, like you have to prep so much for it and you feel like you have to be in a certain place and space to be able to make that happen.
Yeah.
But I don't know, maybe that's not true. I mean, once we get this app, I'm curious to see if that's something that's feasible.
I know.
For me.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Because, you're not just out on the road driving down the freeway and all you see your thing buzz at 2:05 saying, eat 15 shriveled raisins and a piece of a pear. I mean, it's just not a lot of, at times I'm sure it's not very convenient, or I would like to try it. It would just be really hard. I feel like I'd have to be around home with a lot of supplies on hand, but.
Well, maybe not. I think it might come a lot more natural than you think.
Maggie.
Maggie's licking the microphone.
That's not cool, Maggie.
She's trying to get her food. Hey, what did you think really quickly before we sign off about the kidney thing? Because lately I had a little bit of kidney
I actually made a note right here.
Did you?
See?
What does it say?
Chi/kidney meridian.
Yeah, what did he say about that?
Well, here's the thing. He was talking about going out and stomping your feet on the pavement and doing that crazy onion cheese thing in your mouth.
Onion, cheese, and garlic.
For your teeth remineralization or whatever it was he said. But then when he talked about, chi being a kidney meridian, I've been having some low back pain/kidney function challenges. And I thought, isn't that interesting? I guess I knew. It kind of it made sense. It came back to me when he mentioned the chi being the kidney. And that makes so much sense to me, how depleted I have felt and worn out. The times my back hurt the most in the past when I felt like I had lower kidney function is when I was going through a lot, when I was expelling so much energy, whether it be emotional or giving so much to my clients at the salon. So that's when you felt the worst? Yeah, my chi was just super depleted. And it's interesting that he was talking about that being a kidney, and that's what always hurt my lower back. So I think for me, I need to really start doing more qigong, like I was into for a while. I just have, let that habit kind of go. Yeah. I need to replenish and get back that chi, because I do feel very blah. I wonder if rebounding would help because that's the same kind of thing as stomping on the cement. I wonder. Yeah, that's really interesting. I don't know if he was saying the only way to get that back is not only he talked about pounding your heels on the pavement, but was he saying you had to have that cheese and onion in your mouth? Was there something to do with that, or? I think so, all at the same time. Wow. It started to sound like a joke to me. It was put a lollipop in your left ear and put seaweed up your left nostril. Go out and do 4 cartwheels. Put a Q-tip in your left ear. Do splits over an open watermelon. I don't know. At 4:22. No, but he said that at 6:15, which I think might be pretty interesting. What? At what time? No, I'm sorry, 6:15. Oh, 6:15. Yeah. Yeah. He was talking PM, right? Yeah. Yeah. So fascinating. Stuff's bizarre. He sounds like Peter Ragnar, where he's out there doing qigong under the moonlight, grounded on grass, howling with wolves with his magnetic 1800 Gauss magnetic thunderballs. I just think, wow, what are these people up to? I know. I wish I had that kind of a. I shouldn't say I wish I had that time, because we all can do whatever we want with our time. But I do feel like I wish that I saw myself investing more in things like that were out of the box ordinary. I see myself doing that one day, doing weird stuff like that. Oh, there's Justin out in the backyard with his magnetic thunderballs doing qigong underneath the moon, full moon.
I don't know. I see that happening.
Well, I know I'm going that route for
I see
sure.
it happening.
Like the last time there was that Strawberry Moon a couple weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, I'm going to go. I can't miss this.
Oh,
And so I
yeah.
went out and I laid out on the patio on one of our lounge chairs and just, laid under the moon and just talked out loud to myself and about the dreams and hopes and plans I had. And
Really?
I thought, you know what? Here I am talking to myself under the full moon. Like,
One
I'm
step
one
away
step away.
from Crazy Town.
cray cray. I'm okay with it though.
One step away from a padded room and a box or a pillow or what is it?
As long as I have a pillow.
A bottle of pills. Yeah, just wow.
So yeah, why not, right?
Who
You never
knows?
know. Never say never.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is just crazy. Love it though. I love all the weird stuff.
It's fun.
It is fun. All right, so this is episode 271. That's
It
correct.
is 271.
I should realize that 2 plus 7 plus 1 equals 10, which is the number of prosperity. And it's 10 a.m. right now.
Oh. Yep. So
Yep,
maybe
10
you
a.m.
need to wrap up the show here.
Yes.
I need to go eat 10 blueberries.
Ooh, I'm going to go have 10 almonds. All right, guys, thank you so much for checking out this show. If you guys found it interesting or fascinating or relevant to anyone that you know, please feel free to pass it on to your friends via Facebook or Twitter. We would greatly appreciate that. And also, we are 100% listener supported. So if you would like to visit our sponsors like Nutrex, Amazing Spirulina, and
I am
Astaxanthin,
loving the new tracks.
they are just incredible.
Super cool.
Yeah, we take it ourselves, Astaxanthin, especially being out in the sun. So visit extremehealthradio.com/Nutrex, as well as the Morocco Method, the Barf World, raw food diet for your dogs. Incredible stuff, as well as the Qigong. So if you're interested in any of those products, we will have links to all of those on this page, episode 271. We also have a store with all kinds of really interesting things, like the Bellicon Rebounder. We're going to have a Chi machine one day, a Vitalizer
Wait,
Plus.
I thought, when he was talking about that stomping, I thought, well, that sounds great and all, but what if you just got one of those Chi machines? It sounds like it does the same kind of a thing that it would do for cats with the purring, with the
Yeah.
regenerating of the, in this case, your Chi, but pretty cool.
I've been looking into researching the best one for about 6 months, and I think I've found it. So we're going to pick it up, and we'll eventually offer it on our site if we like it. So just lots of great stuff in our store, and as well, there's Amazon too if you guys would like to support us. And also, we take donations. So if you would like to send us a nominal donation of any size, we'd be greatly appreciated. All of those things help to keep the show free so that you could pass them on to your friends, and your friends don't have to sign up and become a member. So we work for you guys, and we rely on you guys for support. So if you can, that would be amazing. We'd be greatly appreciative of anything that you guys would be able to send our way through Amazon or donations or our store. So,
Maggie appreciates it too.
yeah, I got to keep her happy, right?
Got to keep her fed and
Well
looking
fed?
cute with her big brown eyes. She's staring at me. She's giving me the creeps.
So funny.
She knows I'm talking about her.
Oh, man.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, and
We will catch you on the next episode.
look at that. It's good.
Thank you for listening to this episode.
It's time to go for now, but our mission does not end with this show.
Justin and Kate will be back with another interview packed full of ideas, discoveries, and unique ways to regain your health.
Head on over to extremehealthradio.com/subscribe and instantly download our free gift too that contains cutting-edge strategies to start making healthy lifestyle changes today.
No material on this blog is intended to suggest that you should not seek professional medical care. Always work with qualified medical professionals, even if you educate yourself in the field of live food, nutrition, and alternative medicine. I'm not a doctor, nor am I offering readers medical advice of any kind. None of the information offered here should be interpreted as a diagnosis of any disease, nor an attempt to treat or prevent any disease or condition. While information